Does anybody here have a horror story about data quality that they can tell? Something where, I don't know, there was a mismatched schema or something didn't work right, or maybe a migration or something. All right, Chad, I see you over there. Come on, tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have, I could write pages worth of data quality issues that I've encountered in my life of all different varieties and sorts. So I can tell two very quickly. So I used to work at a freight tech company called Convoy that unfortunately for the world no longer exists. Thank you, COVID. But we are very heavily model driven. And we had a couple models that were incredibly important to the business. And one of them was our pricing model. And the way that the pricing model worked is that it would essentially, based on data we were getting from our freight marketplace, which was an auction, it would predict a range. It would say, this is what we think the ceiling of this particular shipment is going to go for in an auction, and this is what we think the floor is going to be. And then depending on that range, it would say, well, is this within margin or sort of out of band for margin for us? So that model was really, really important. Otherwise, we'd be bringing shipments into our marketplace and we'd actively lose money trying to fulfill them within the actual auction environment. And we had two really major data quality incidents within a period of about 3 months. One of them came from a very simple schema change, where a junior software engineer didn't understand that a feature ironically called is dropped was actually used as a feature within the model. They dropped it just because they're like, oh, well, our application's not using this is dropped column anymore. And it blew up our entire data pipeline, and nobody really knew exactly why for at least a few days until we did a root cause analysis.
I swear I've made that mistake before.
Everybody has. So many people have. And then the second is a lot more subtle and I think more nefarious in some ways, where we had a new feature that was being launched. And this pricing model was trained on the data from our auction. And this behavior within the auction was all human generated, right? So it was a person going in and making a bid and then adjusting their bid and then taking the shipment and so on and so forth. And a very smart, brilliant product team decided to build a feature called AutoBid. And AutoBid meant all a truck driver had to do was turn this feature on, and a machine would incrementally bid down in increments of $5, $10, $50. So they'd bid lower and lower and lower. And what that meant was, after a certain period of time, we had thousands of machine-generated bids in our marketplace, and that was the data our pricing model was being trained on. So that was a multi-million-dollar incident that took place over a period of about 3 months.
It's interesting the power of compounding error like that. When a generated error gets used again and how it compounds. It's specifically something that I feel like a lot of people have run into with now the scope of generative models and their use cases today.